Hey, so I wanted to do a quick video on EM because I love it. Uh, anyway, so what I recommend is installing these EMI filters on anything in your house that's inverter driven. So, pretty much the way that it works, and this is true for all ECM motors, all inverter driven compressors, anything that's really high efficiency. And not just that, but also little things. But you're gonna manage those a little bit differently. So these these cell phone chargers, these are radio transmitters. These transmit radio frequencies out into the ambient air and down the electrical wires. The thing is, these don't use a lot of power. So the power density of those radio waves aren't that strong, but they exist. And if you're an AV guy, it could be impactful. If you're a crazy person like me who worries about the potential biological impacts of electromagnetic radiation and not just its interference on other electronic devices, but its interference on this electronic device, which is our nervous system. Uh, it's a threat I choose to mitigate. Um, I choose to acknowledge it as a threat, but the logical part of my brain recognizes that that threat is not black and white. That threat is based on proximity and power density and frequency range. Sorry, girl. So these I'm not gonna lose sleep over, metaphorically, but do deserve some attention. So, in my opinion, something like this should be shielded in metal. The incoming wires or any wires connected to it should have a ferrite bead on it. So basically, you're not gonna get the interference um, generated by these traveling throughout the wires in your house and basically transmitting that frequency into everything that is within range of those wires, including you. Uh, the ferrite bead in the shielding will protect that. So a little bit of, believe it or not, like aluminum wrapped around these we'll make them run hot. We'll make them not last as long, but we'll protect it from uh, the radio frequency. TV just comes right over and says "I." Um, so that's one thing. But the big stuff. So we're talking like a compressor that's drawing 20 amps of power, which you know is an exaggeration for an inverter driven, but still 10 amps of power. 10 amps of power, and that 10 amps is powering an inverter board that is acting like a transmitter. So basically, the way that it works is it chops up the AC voltage into little bits, and then sends that signal to the motor magnets um, in pulses. And those pulses and the frequency at which it pulses that electromagnetic radiation is the radio frequency that you will get out of the wires, like back EMF, right? So these little EMI filters completely block that output signal. Now, these will also, kind of by default, protect the system from incoming power surges to a degree, but that's not really what they're there for. You have to look now. It's a catch 22 because these it's not a catch 22 really, but it's kind of two sided. But you need to think of it less in economic terms. So it's a big investment right? And you're like, okay, I want to install a surge protector to protect that expensive equipment. That makes sense. That's something you would want to do. But you need to look at that expensive piece of equipment really as a threat. And you're trying to contain that threat. Because the frequencies it generates consistently are probably worse than a power surge you'll see over the course of 5 years, at any given time. And it's constantly outputting those radio frequencies. So a device like this will really turn your house from a small radio station into a quiet house. And that's the objective, is to have a full spectrum quiet house, especially while I sleep. I don't want to sleep on top of a radio tower, right? I don't want excess radiation bombarding me while I'm trying to achieve REM sleep. Sleep is critical, and minimizing, I don't want to say all, because there are probably some frequencies that are helpful during sleep, but those frequencies are going to be specific frequencies, and they're going to be in specific power densities inside your brain. External noise is going to likely do nothing but interfere with those internal frequencies. And that is going to, barring hundreds, if not thousands of years of evolution, have a negative impact on our life and our quality of life. So you bought a really expensive air conditioner. Good on you. You got the high efficiency motors. Good on you. Now take an extra step and protect your health from that good investment. And it is a good investment. I don't want to drive people towards PSC technology. PSC technology is not efficient. It's just not. It's durable. It has its benefits. It has its place. But you need to take radio frequency emissions seriously, in my opinion. And I think that these little devices are cheap and, quite frankly, should be installed on anything connected to your internal wiring. You can manage. I'm assuming everybody, the two people that watch my station, all the voices in my head. I'm assuming everybody has already taken the steps to mitigate power surges coming into their home. Some degree of radio frequency mitigation, certainly some form of power surge protection, but that does no good at all if internally you're generating power surges. If internally you're generating electrical noise, then controlling your inputs aren't going to help you. So strongly recommended is the EMI filters on pretty much everything with an inverter. My professional opinion.